And is it going to eventually get better here?
I think so. I think what you're seeing is that trajectory is going in the right direction. You're seeing things slow down. They knew that they were going to have a lot of kind of lumpy outflows in the beginning of the year as those institutional clients, their decision-making processes started to kind of flow through. So I think they're expecting, this month was bad, next month's going to be bad. After that, they're really hoping that it starts to peter out.
Okay, so the fund has lost how much money since Bill Gross left?
Since Bill left, I think we're talking about $100 billion.
Wow.
Yeah, which is incredible. Since the peak, it's still less, it's about almost 60% what it once was in 2013. So you're looking at a pretty sizable difference.
It is a big difference. The demographics, though, of who's pulling out? What do they look like? I mean, who are they?
So I think you're mostly looking at these kind of slow-moving retirement money, retirement accounts, pension funds, insurance companies. These people who have very long decision-making processes. They go to committees, they talk about it, they use consultants to help them choose what they want to do. So that money tends to be a little bit stickier, and you see a slower, as they really deliberate and have to go check the different boxes, it takes a long time for that to feed through.
Right. So, yeah, it's a long decision, but once they do it, they do it.
And it's big money, usually.
And is it justified? I mean, is there an underperformance going on that it justifies this kind of outflow? I mean, almost $100 billion?
That's a great question. The fund has actually done quite well since Bill left. The new managers are really working hard to prove that they can do it, that the same infrastructure that Bill set up, they're keeping in place. And so all the decision-making processes and most of the people who were helping run the fund are still there. So their point is, stay with us. And their performance has actually kind of underscored that. They've done pretty well. I think they were 99th percentile in January, and they're had a pretty strong February as well. So it's been impressive. And part of that people are talking about is how much of that is attributable to having a smaller size fund to be able to work with in the market. If you're no longer outsizing the entire market, you have a lot more, agility. And this is something that Bill touts over at Janus too. Being smaller is an advantage.
Well, and Bill Gross is smaller now. So how is he doing over at Janus then?
His returns are pretty middling so far. I think last I checked, he was in the 44th percentile. So he's kind of right in the middle of the pack. And as we were saying a minute ago, I'm sure that's just driving him insane. So
right, I know. He's still very much watched, though. His opinions are still watched. So how much time are investors going to give him, though? They understand it might be middling in the beginning, but how much time are they going to give him before they say, hey, wait a minute, maybe he's lost his touch?
Well, that's an interesting question because I think, he said on Bloomberg TV the other day, he's only going to stick around for 2, 3, 4 years. So if I'm an institutional investor, the kind of question for me is why would I switch my money if I'm just going to have to reevaluate in maybe 2 years?
Right.
So that's not great for his investment pitch. I think that, he's trying to make those returns happen this minute, right now, day to day. So he lives his life day to day on basis points.